Hello, this is Slow Night, Sleepy Stories. Have you ever dreamed of flying freely in the sky, leaving all the heavy things of the world behind? Tonight's story is about Gildong, a boy who could command the wind and walk on clouds. Though he carried a deep sorrow in his heart, he did not let it weigh him down. Instead, he used his magic to soar above the world in search of a utopia where everyone could be happy. Tonight, imagine yourself riding on a soft cloud with him. Drift away from gravity, drift away from worries, fly freely into a deep, peaceful sleep. Here is the complete translation of the provided text of Gildong Joan, The Tale of Gildong, into English. The Tale of Gildong, complete English translation. Birth, growth, and the sorrow of a secondary son. In the 15th year of King Sejong's reign in the Joseon dynasty, there lived a minister named Hong Moon outside the Honghuai Gate. He was a man of integrity and uprightness, and his virtue was so great that he was considered a hero of the age. Having risen to high office early, his reputation was paramount in the court. The king, admiring his virtue, promoted him to Minister of Personnel and left state counselor. The minister, moved by the king's grace, served the country with loyalty, resulting in peace throughout the land, an absence of thieves, and abundant harvests. One day, the minister leaned against a railing and briefly dozed off. A cool breeze led him to a place where green mountains were dim and green waters flowed. Willows formed a lush shade, golden orioles sang of spring, and exotic flowers bloomed while blue and white cranes boasted of the spring light. As he walked further, he saw a cliff reaching the sky and waterfalls forming mists. Suddenly, a blue dragon emerged from the water, roared, and entered the minister's mouth. He awoke to find it was a great dream. Thinking, "I will surely beget a noble son," he went to the inner quarters to be with his wife. However, the wife sternly refused, saying, "You are a high minister of the state. How can you ignore your dignity and enter the inner room in broad daylight like a commoner?" The minister, unable to share his dream for fear of wasting its omen, left in disappointment. He went to the outer quarters where a maid named Chunsum brought him a table. He took her, and they shared a moment of intimacy, relieving his frustration, though he still sighed in his heart. Though Chunsum was of low birth, she was virtuous. After serving the minister, she did not step outside the middle gate and cultivated her conduct. She became pregnant that month and, after 10 months, gave birth to a boy amidst auspicious signs of 5-colored clouds and strange fragrances. 3 days later, the minister saw the child. He was pleased but regretted that the child was born of a concubine. He named him Gildong. As the boy grew, his appearance was extraordinary. If he heard one thing, he understood 10, and there was nothing he did not know. One day the minister sighed to his wife, "This child is a hero, but he is of low birth. How can he be used? It is resentful indeed." When the wife asked why, he explained, "If you had listened to me that day, this child would have been born from you. How then would he be of low birth?" He told her of the dragon dream, and she replied, "This is also the will of heaven. What can human power do?" As time passed, Gildong turned 8. Everyone praised him, and the minister loved him, but Gildong harbored a deep grudge because he could not address his father as father or his brother as brother. One autumn night, under the full moon, he sighed alone. A man born into the world should study the ways of Confucius and Mencius, become a general or minister, command armies, and leave his name for posterity. The ancients said, "Kings and generals are not born of a special seed. Why then am I alone, unable to call my father father and my brother brother?" Overwhelmed with sorrow, he drew a sword and danced under the moon. The minister saw this and asked, "The night is deep. What joy makes you do this?" Gildong bowed and said, "I was born a man by your energy, yet I cannot call my father father or my brother brother. Servants look down on me, and relatives point fingers at me as a low-born son. Where is there such resentment?" He wept aloud. The minister felt pity, but scolded him to prevent him from becoming arrogant. "You are not the only low-born son of a minister. Do not be presumptuous." Gildong wept and went to his mother. He said, "Though I am grateful for your love, I cannot fulfill my destiny as a man because of my status. I wish to leave, hide in the mountains, and forget worldly glory. Please do not worry. I will return one day." Seeing his determination, his mother tried to dissuade him, saying, "Wait, and perhaps the minister will make a decision for you later. Gildong replied, "Apart from the discrimination, Chonang, the jealous concubine, plots to harm us. I must leave to prevent calamity from befalling you." The assassination plot and escape. Chonang, a former Jisang and the minister's favorite concubine, was jealous of Gildong because the minister loved him. Fearing she would lose favor, she plotted to kill him. She hired a shaman and a face reader, physiognomist. They planned to have the face reader predict that Gildong would bring disaster, prompting the minister to remove him. One day, while the minister was with Gildong, a woman entered. She claimed to be a face reader. The minister asked her to read his fortune, and she spoke accurately. Then, looking at Gildong, she praised him but hesitated. Pressed by the minister, she whispered, "If he succeeds, he will be a king. If he fails, he will bring immeasurable disaster to your family." The minister was shocked and told her never to speak of it again. The minister worried greatly, thinking he might have to kill his own son to prevent treason and family ruin, but he could not bear to do it. He fell ill from the stress. Chonang seized the opportunity, suggesting it would be better to eliminate him quietly to prevent a greater calamity. The minister scolded her, but she persisted, persuading the minister's wife and eldest son that it was for the good of the family and the minister's health. Reluctantly, they agreed. Chonang hired an assassin named Tukjai to kill Gildong that night. Gildong, now 11, was proficient in magic and martial arts. That night, he heard a crow caw 3 times, signaling danger. He set up a magical formation in his room and waited. Tukjai entered with a dagger, but found the room transformed into mountains and rivers with thunder and strong winds. A flute played, and a boy on a crane appeared, scolding Tukjai. Tukjai threw his dagger, but Gildong vanished, and the room filled with murderous intent. Gildong reappeared, rebuked Tukjai for his greed, and executed him. He then summoned the spirits to capture the face reader and executed her as well. Gildong went to the minister to bid farewell. "I must leave to save my life. I have eliminated the threats," he said. The minister, realizing Gildong's extraordinary nature, granted him permission to leave and call him father for once. "Go, but do not cause trouble for the family. Return quickly." Gildong bowed, thanked his father, and bade a tearful farewell to his mother. He then vanished into the vast world. The rise of the Hualbindong. Gildong wandered until he found a bandit lair in a deep mountain. The bandits were debating who should be their leader. Gildong stepped forward and offered to lead them. The bandits laughed at the boy, but Gildong proved his strength by lifting a rock weighing thousands of pounds. Impressed, they made him their leader. Gildong led the bandits to Hinsa Temple. He tricked the monks into gathering in one place, while his men stripped the temple of its treasures. When government troops pursued them, Gildong used magic to create fog and disguised himself as a monk to misdirect the soldiers. He renamed the group Hualbindong, the party that saves the poor. They raided corrupt officials and distributed the wealth to the poor, never harming commoners. He posted his name, Hong Gildong, at the scenes of his deeds. The 8 Gildongs and the kingdom's chaos. Gildong created 7 straw men and used magic to turn them into duplicates of himself. 8 Hong Gildongs appeared simultaneously across the 8 provinces of Joseon, raiding officials and opening storehouses. The king commanded they be caught, but no one could distinguish the real one. The king appointed the famous police chief Yi Eop to catch Gildong. Gildong approached Yi Eop in disguise, tricked him into a test of strength, and then captured him. Gildong scolded Yi Eop, but released him unharmed to show his power. The king was furious and arrested Gildong's father, Minister Hong, and brother, Gilyon, threatening to punish them if Gildong did not surrender. Gilyon was sent as the governor of Gyeongsang province to capture his brother. Gilyon posted appeals to Gildong's filial piety. Gildong appeared before his brother, surrendered voluntarily to save his father, and allowed himself to be bound. However, 8 Gildongs were captured from 8 provinces simultaneously. Brought before the king and Minister Hong, they argued over who was the real one. The minister, distressed, scolded them and collapsed. The 8 Gildongs produced medicine to revive him. They then claimed they were innocent of treason and only stole from the corrupt. Suddenly, they all vanished, leaving only straw dolls. Minister of War and Departure. Gildong posted a message. If you grant me the title of Minister of War, I will surrender. The court was divided, but the king eventually agreed to appease him. Gildong appeared in a solemn procession, accepted the royal appointment, bowed to the king and said, "I have achieved my lifelong ambition. Now I will leave Joseon." He then flew away into the air. The king was amazed and revoked the order to arrest him. Conquest of Yuldo and final days. Gildong left Joseon and went to a place called the Kingdom of Yuldo. He established a base on an island. He rescued a woman named Baek Sojeo from a monster named Yuldong, who had kidnapped her, and killed the monster using magic and divine generals. He married Baek Sojeo and 2 other women he saved. One day, reading the stars, Gildong knew his father was dying. He prepared a tomb on his island. When Minister Hong died in Joseon, Gildong transported the body to the island for a grand funeral, bringing his mother as well. He reunited with his brother Gilhyun, who came for the funeral. They wept and parted ways, knowing they lived in different worlds. Gildong then raised an army and conquered the kingdom of Yuldo. The king of Yuldo fought back but was defeated by Gildong's magic and strategy. Gildong became the king of Yuldo. He ruled wisely and the kingdom prospered. He honored his mother and ancestors. After reigning for 30 years and having raised his children, Gildong sensed his time had come. One day, red clouds surrounded his palace and divine music played. Gildong and his wife ascended to heaven, becoming immortals. His descendants ruled Yuldo in peace, and his brother Gilhyun in Joseon also enjoyed high office and prosperity. Thus Hong Gildong, though born of low status, cleared his resentment, practiced filial piety and brotherly love, and achieved heroic greatness, leaving his name for all eternity.